this edition of the Quarantine Kitchen, and today I am going to make for you some cookout food. So I want to show you a way to stretch your meat a little bit and also sneak in some nutrition into the burgers. And we're going to flavor today's burgers with Asian flavors. So the first thing is the meat. So I've got 2 pounds of meat here. I've actually got 1.5 pounds in this bowl. Alright, first thing you want to do is grate the zucchini. So it's about a medium-sized zucchini to a pound of meat is your ratio. If you don't have a food processor, just use a box grater. A box grater is just fine. So now let's work towards these beautiful Asian flavors that we're going to get going on in this burger. So you can use red onion or you can use spring onion. I'm going to use spring onion here. Okay, so these are all herbs that came out of my little container gardening outside. Alright, those are some aggressive spring onions. I'm telling you what, my eyes are watering. So I'm going to put in some chives. If you can find lemongrass, freeze it, because actually what I do is I freeze it and I like to grate it from slightly frozen. It makes it much easier to handle when you grate it from slightly frozen, you know. So from my garden here, this is Asian basil that I'm chopping up, which is so appropriate to this dish. And it definitely has kind of a lemongrassy feel to it. And then this is regular basil that I'm chopping up. Okay, Asian basil, regular basil, and mint. Mint is kind of an unexpected thing that I'm going to put in. And then I'm going to put in a whole lot of cilantro. Okay, cilantro is not from my garden. Cilantro actually is quite difficult to grow. I find that it bolts quite quickly and goes to seed quite quickly. So, you know, I'm really making you feel good food. You know, I like to take food that we associate with being traditional junk food and give it the feel good treatment. And you know, cilantro is a wonderful chelator of heavy metals, and mint is very energizing and actually good for lifting your mood. Basil is actually just good for adrenal health overall. So my spice blend, this is a spice that I got from the savory spice store called Indochine. You can use whatever spice you like, and I also added to it some extra turmeric and a little bit of extra paprika, because you know, spices are very, very healing. They have oils in them, and turmeric, especially when it's activated with a bit of black pepper, is very, very anti-inflammatory food, the curcumin. Alright, now let's blend together the seasonings. So I'm going to use fish sauce, and I know when you smell it alone you're like, why would you? Because it's awful. But fish sauce, which is literally made from fermented fish, usually sardines, gives you that kind of sixth sense, that kind of umami. Years and years ago I did a cooking class, a week-long cooking class in Colorado of all places, with a lady that lived in Asia, and it was really amazing, because she really was great about teaching the principles and the techniques of Asian cooking. And this is what she taught us: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, hot. When you're doing Asian flavors, you want to kind of try to balance those flavors: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, hot. That's kind of what you want to do. All right. So I'm going to use a little bit of fish sauce. I'm going to mix together my seasonings in this bowl. This is some coconut aminos. You can use soy sauce as well if you prefer. And this is going to give me a bit of saltiness. We're going to use a little bit of toasted sesame oil. I need to put this on my shopping list. This bottle lasts me months because it's so powerful that you don't need very much of it. And here's the hot, guys. Woohoo! This is one of my favorite things. This is the sambal ulik. So I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of it because I like it kind of spicy. Salt, because the coconut aminos is not very salty. You know, you need to salt your food properly. If you want to know why restaurant food tastes so good, it's usually 2 reasons: salt and butter. Those are the main things that sets restaurant food apart from other food. Alright, so let's get mixing. Okay, It's a beautiful thing. Alright, let's shape some burgers. And I just kind of do it freestyle. Eyeball it. It's all good. It's all good. I think we'll just cook 2 for now. I'm going to dash out to the grill and get these burgers on the grill. And why am I putting oil onto a paper towel? Because I wipe the grill just with a tiny bit of oil where I'm going to put the burger down. I don't use a lot of oil. So the meat is done. Done. And you could mix this up the day before, 2 days before, whatever is easy for you. You can shape the patties. I know some people like to use like a burger press to shape the patties. I don't have anything so fancy, so I just do it, kind of eyeball it and mix it together, and it works pretty well. For me anyway. Alright, next thing, let's keep going with these beautiful Asian flavors that we're going to do here. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some slaw. I'm going to make you some Asian slaw. So you can open up your fridge and just use whatever you've got that's going to give you this kind of crunchiness. Alright, so this is some purple cabbage. You could use regular white cabbage as well. You could use Savoy cabbage, whatever cabbage you like, but the whole brassica family is so valuable for anti-cancer, antioxidant food, and particularly foods that are purple. Try every day when you're planning your meals to try and have from 3 different categories. You want to have foods that are got color in them, like purple colors, like, you know, red beets and red cabbage and red bell peppers and so forth. Then you want to have your leafy greens, which is your folate, and then you want to have the sulfur family, which is your onions and your garlic and that sort of thing. All right. So I'm just going to cut this into some chunks. So I'm just going to run it through the food processor. Slaw's got to be interesting. It's got to have all kinds of different textures and colors and flavors to it to be yummy. Okay, so there goes the purple cabbage. That's going to be the base of the slaw today. And I'm going to put the grater blade back on my processor. And I'm going to put in some other things here. Okay, carrots. Some color. This is going to look so cool. And then I've got some radishes left over. I'm going to pop those in. I really love radishes in a salad. I love that sort of bitter contrast that you get from radishes, but I think a mistake that people often make with radishes is to not slice them fine enough. So you come across this big piece of radish, do you know what I mean? In your salad, and it's just not so much fun, right? Who knows what I mean? Give me a thumbs up over there. Alright. Some more spring onion. Put that in, and I've got a whole container of spring onions growing out there because it's something that I use quite a lot. And I know some people don't use the white part of the spring onion, but I actually really like it. In it goes. Alright. Salad dressing. Here we go. So today we're going to make a dressing that's predominantly orange and ginger in the flavors of the dressing. You know, I know you've got different flavors in the burger and you've got different flavors in the slaw, and then you're going to have the chili aioli on top of that, which is going to give you another layer of flavor. But that's really what you do when you're putting together a composite dishes. You're building different layers of flavor. So I'm just cutting some of the zest of the orange in here. To really bump up that orange flavor. Okay, so we got orange juice, and now the ginger, this beautiful big fat knob of ginger that I got. And if you're not going to use your ginger right away, I highly recommend that you freeze it, because ginger, you know, it's fairly expensive, and it goes bad quite fast. So what I recommend you do is pop it in the freezer, because you just need to let it thaw out slightly, and then you can use it. It's awesome. Okay. Just peel it with a vegetable peeler. I'm actually going to use this big grater to be able to get some action going quickly here. Oh, ginger is arguably one of the most anti-inflammatory foods that you can do. I really highly recommend that you include ginger in your food, and it's wonderful to keep and just put a few slices into some tea. But you know, ginger really is great for nausea, and it's really great to, you know, to curb inflammation. Okay, so there's the ginger. Awesome. All right. And now what am I going to use for the rest of the dressing? I'm going to put a base of apple cider vinegar in. Okay, so you know, it must be the good apple cider vinegar, the one that's got the mother in the bottom, not the distilled apple cider vinegar. That one's not a good idea. Okay, and I'm actually going to use also a little bit of rice vinegar, because rice vinegar gives you that kind of sweetness, which is so great. All right, and then I'm going to use olive oil and a little bit of honey. So I'm going to use honey, and I'm going to use a little bit of monk fruit so that I can cut down on the sugars, because for those of you who might have noticed, I have a program happening right now, my Nourish, Heal and Thrive program, where we're all stepping away from the cookies. Who can relate? Give me an arm in if you can relate that the cookies and the junk food are featured a little bit more than they usually do during this time of quarantine, right? Who can relate to me? Yeah? So what am I doing here? I'm whisking the oil in while I'm stirring to emulsify it. And yes, this is a lot of dressing. I've done this on purpose. One thing I highly recommend you do is always make too much dressing, because it's so awesome to have on hand, and you can freeze dressing. It freezes beautifully. So give me a little taste. It's delicious, but it needs some seasoning. So I'm actually going to put in a bit of salt and a little touch of the coconut aminos for the saltiness. And I'm actually going to use the last drop of my sesame oil in here to finish that off. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, put the dressing over. And then we work that through. Look at these colors, guys. Doesn't it look beautiful? I mean, you eat with your eyes, you know, and before you taste it, you know, so the visual appeal is really, really important. And this is just going to be the perfect slaw to complement this burger, I can tell. Now we are going to make the aioli, the sauce. Okay, so I'm going to just move this away over here. Give the area a little wipe down. All right, so you can use store-bought mayonnaise for the base of your aioli, but I want to show you a method that I use for making your own mayonnaise in a mason jar. And I'm doing this for you live on camera, so let's hope it works. I did do it live on the Charlotte Today show and it worked, so let's hope that's all going to be kind to me today, right? So, salmonella doesn't live inside the egg. The salmonella actually lives on the shell of the egg. So what you're going to do is you're going to pour some boiling water over, and this is an egg that I've already treated, so I don't have to wait. Wait 30 seconds, okay? Lift the egg out, and I've already treated this egg. And it must be a room temperature egg, okay? So you don't want an egg that's very cold. All right, then you're going to put in your seasonings, and I'm going to put in some lemon zest to this, and I'm going to put in a little squeeze of lemon juice. Now we're going to put in some mustard powder, and I'm using dry mustard for a reason, because I don't want too many liquidy things in here, okay? And I'm going to put in some salt. I think that salt is finished, so I need to just get some out of here. Teaspoon of salt. So this recipe is on tasteofhealing.com. I'll post a link to it for you to find it easily. So what did I put in? I put in the egg, I put in lemon juice, I put in salt, I put in mustard powder. And now I'm going to put in a cup of oil. You could use olive oil, but I prefer to use avocado oil. So in it goes. All right. So here we go. Wish me luck. Put your blender down in the bottom and start blending, and don't lift it up, and then slowly start to rock the immersion blender from side to side, and then slightly lift it up. Be careful you don't end up wearing mayonnaise, okay? Okay guys, how long did that take? 10 seconds? We have mayonnaise. What do you all think of that? Homemade mayonnaise. So if you're going to go with store-bought versions, here in America we have two brands that I really like. The one is called Honest Food mayonnaise, and the other one is Sir Kensington's, and those are both delicious mayonnaise made with real ingredients. If you go and just read the label ingredient in a lot of mayonnaise, you'll just be like, ugh, yuck. So if you've got a jar of sweet chili sauce in your pantry, just use that to make your sauce, but I don't. So I'm going to put in a spoon of this sambal ulik is what I'm going to put in. And I'm going to put in a little bit of rice vinegar to give me, a bit more of a tang. Okay, so again I'm using a combination of honey and monk fruit because I want to cut down on the sugars. Okay, that's important to me right now, is to cut down on the sugars. So let's just get this blended up. That's how you can make your own mayonnaise in like, how long did it take us to make the mayonnaise? Not very long, right? We've got the aioli, we've got the slaw, and we check on those buns. The buns are ready. Spoonful of the aioli on my bun, like that. I'm going to put the hamburger on. I'm going to put another spoonful of aioli. Okay, so we made the whole meal in 35 minutes. It's not bad, baby. Okay, so who's keen to make this for your dinner tonight? I will eat this with a lettuce wrap. I won't even use the bread. One of my projects is to learn to make gluten-free hamburger buns. So I've tried one time and it wasn't all that great, but I know that this is going to be delicious and I'm going to love it. Okay. So thank you for joining me. I hope that I've inspired you all to make something delicious, and wishing you all a very enjoyable weekend. Bye-bye.